Happy Wednesday. I'm happy today because it's my daughter's birthday, but I'm also happy for another reason. I want to talk about the market for a minute, and then we're going to get into the reason why I'm feeling a bit more upbeat today than I have been. Okay, so guys, this is the play. Basically, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 20.7, trying to find 20.8. We got to wait for our confirmations to be in. One option could be that this is a confirmed turning point and it stopped at 9, and then 9's going to 10. But I don't want to be overreacted to the market because that is more of a defensive way of forecasting and not something that I have recommend it to others, so I'm not going to do it myself. I'm going to wait for confirmations. What matters most is, of course, the trend over here. Now, just with regards to that, let me get back to trend. There's this one troll that's been pretty much in service of late, and he's been on my case about not being right for the trend direction whilst the trend was forming inside the symmetrical triangle. And obviously he doesn't watch videos, otherwise he would get the insight. He's just the kind of person who just looks at an image, he wants everything for nothing, and then that is what it is. Now, with regards to how the markets work, it's up to us to do one thing, and that is to anticipate what's happening ahead of time before it happens. Okay, so it's super easy to look back and be like, oh, okay, it's pretty obvious that was the case. But when there's no future, when it's just blank and white in front of you, it's up to us to look at the highest probability of the setups whilst it's in action. And what happened over this a number of difficult weeks, which I decided to get back online, I kind of the universe said that you're not done with this, is I got live updates or video updates of what's happening with the market, but I did so in a very kind of half-assed, haphazard kind of way, and there's a lesson in that for you. So what I'm talking about is because of prior to that symmetrical triangle, and whilst there was a bull run just charging through, I mean, I would get nearly every single forecast spot on. And aside to me, and what happens to students as well, became complacent. The law of familiarity came in, the desire to be accurate kind of reduced a bit, because I mean, I was so on point for so long, and I was getting praised for it, and then there was the other side of the curve that kind of happened. So let's say, for example, you're a student. It doesn't only have to be for MTOPS, it could be for anywhere. But let's say over here, your progression, I'm just trying to find the best place, whatever. Your progression when you learn about MTOPS is so exciting. You're like, oh my gosh, where has this been my entire life? This makes so much sense. I'm applying it. I can do it myself. This is great. Oh my gosh, there's another accurate forecast. Look at that. I'm unstoppable. This is the change I need in my life to tell my boss to shove it. And now I'm financially free. And you do that for a while, and then you get the results on your trading platform, and that kind of gives you a boost as well. You're like, oh, that's fantastic. And then there comes a point. I don't know exactly when that point is, right? And that point for me was getting back online and doing some more market updates, where you haven't got much to prove anymore. Like, you are complacent in the sense that it's working for you. You've finally committed to something that's going to return high accuracy and therefore solid profits. And then this kind of happens, and this is what's been happening to me, which put me into a mild depression, to be honest with you, and I don't know what was going on until today. I'll get into that a little bit later. So then the law of familiarity kicks in, and just redoing what works kind of kicks in. And instead of prospering and pioneering into the new space and the excitement of newness and the shiny learning element of that honeymoon period, they call it, that kind of may sizzle out. And then the duty and responsibility and patience kind of becomes more important than learning the new skill. It's about managing the skill and applying it over and over again. And because MTOPS is as good as it needs to be, like, there's something called the law of it's a D word, law of not deformation, not depreciation. Diminishing returns. The law of diminishing returns kicks in. And that's when, like, for example, if I had to make MTOPS more complicated, then it will be too much to apply to the markets, and the markets are forever changing. So to reassemble the setups time and time again, it creates a level of exhaustion, which humans aren't something, they don't really want more effort. They want things that are simple and that work. So MTOPS will never advance into anything more than it already is. And that's, again, by choice. Simplicity works. And I've boiled down astronomy and numerology and time cycles and all that kind of stuff into just simple place a line there, put a line there, get the scaling right, wait for it to get to the time forecast and do it again. Okay, wait for confirm. Market structure, I've boiled it down, the complexity of the markets down to as simple as I can make it. I'm never going to make it more advanced, other than the fact that I'm coding a AI to do the work for me, and potentially others as well. So that's the innovation I'm heading towards, but not the strategy itself. So why I'm bringing it up is because if you're not getting new information that's exciting and dazzling and all the rest of it, and there's a lot to learn. There's mastering yourself, mastering trading, mastering position sizing. Like there's kind of a lot to learn. But once you've learned it all, you get to this peak, this hump, and it goes down. So that's kind of where I've been for the last few weeks, and I'm sure you could pick it up in my voice and just my mannerisms and such in the videos. And I got to say, like, it's been bumming me out. Like today is my daughter's second birthday, and she is the best, one of the best things that have ever happened to me. I love her. I woke up feeling a bit depressed today, and I was like, I didn't see the sparkle, I didn't see the beauty as I usually do, and that's what concerned me quite deeply. So I want to keep on topic. If you don't like the topic, skip forward, whatever, I don't care. So what I'm trying to get to is that I've been moping around a bit, and my family, this is some personal stuff. They didn't come to visit for her birthday because they're on the other side of the country, and I get it, but also it sucks. And we got some messages, but it's always like little one-liners, and it's just cold in text. Like when I grew up, it was like family in mass, and people showed up, and that's what I want for my kids, and I didn't get that. So I was feeling a bit like disappointed, and there's other factors that have kind of put me on my back foot for a bit. And I said, what is going on here? Because the spiritual community, they say, like, imagine you've got what you want, and just and live in that like energy and imagination, and then the world around you will kind of resonate that. And I was like, okay, cool, thanks for the advice. And then, like, David Goggins, like, was asked how does he bounce back when he feels like giving up. And he asked himself the question, like, what if I was the first black guy to win this, or what if I was the first guy of my history to be on the Tom Ferry show, or whatever the situation is. And he gets himself going with what if and whatever. So, like, everyone's kind of got their little advice, and I was taking in advice from other people, and it killed me, bro. Like, this is, I get the irony that this is advice, but what I'm trying to say is, like, find what works for you again. And this comes from just spending like a good catch-up time with a mate of mine who's moved to England, and it's just such a beautiful soul, but it's just feeling like I was, just like slumpy shouldered, head a little bit down, kind of moping around instead of being our powerful selves. So if you're going through that, and it's likely that you are, because the mood of the planets are very wobbly and they're putting a lot of people on their back feet, if you're going through that, I want you to go out and find out what works for you. No one else's advice, not even my advice now. I'm going to share what works with me. It's just to inspire you to go and do something for yourself. But go out to nature. The divine knowledge of nature with the toroidal fields and how everything is interconnected is far more informative than Instagram little spikes of motivation, or sitting in your car and trying to psych yourself up and that kind of shit. Like, get into the divine knowledge of this planet, and that's where like original nature is, not your garden. Like, go into like wild nature, and that's where the divine knowledge exists, because of how everything's connected, and it's been there for centuries, instead of just the little stints that our human community's been around for, but that's another story for another time. And so I did that. I went into our local jungle forest, and there's this beautiful stream that I'm absolutely in love with. And I sat in the middle of it, and I just felt the water surround me. And I put my hands onto the rock, and I just looked up at the treetops, and I just like, guys, I want you to absorb my sadness. I want you to absorb my depression that I'm currently feeling, and I want you to just allow passage for me to find out who I am, what works for me. And I did exactly that. So I got into all those feelings again about the disappointment from the family, and then other areas of my life, some personal stuff here and there, and just not having the follow through energy and my normal like jump out of bed, action taking self, that kind of stuff. And I realized that if I had to label that all together, and say, for example, we were in a game of like Star Wars where like the force be with you and stuff, where it's the light versus the dark, then the dark is winning. The depression, the dehydration I cause my body through like coping mechanisms like a glass of wine or coffee, or all that D stuff, like that demotivation, all that shit. And I was like, the dark's winning. And then I was like, wait, hold on a second. Excuse my language. Fuck no, that's not the way I want it to be. And then my words came to mind, which is not popular amongst other people because it seems egoic and kind of arrogant and all, and I get shot down by it. But I don't give a shit anymore, bro. It is what works for me. These two simple words came through, and that is, I win. I win. I fucking win. And that's what just realigned me to who I was, and realigned my extremely audacious goals. The desire for me to buy up all the land around where I stay now, kick the fucking cows off of it, cut down the fucking timber, and reintroduce indigenous forest with jaguars, which are native to this area, to elephants, to all that stuff. I won't go on, but you get the idea. That's my why. That's why I get up. That's why I code my back into a braking position where my eyes are just too heavy to keep open. That's why I put myself through suffering. It's because I'm here to make a fucking change. And that is where I was. And why I slid into depression, just by the way, is because about 3 weeks ago, there was a spiritual healer saying that you should never kind of manifest your will over other people's will, because that's interfering with their life paths and their free will, and they've come to the planet to learn their lessons and all this stuff. And it's like, farmers are there to also go through the whole transformation of abusing the land and, kind of trapping cows together, which is not natural, and all this other stuff, and then put it through these machines and all that. And I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to respect everyone else's free will and their story on Earth. And then today I said, no, fuck that, dude. I win. I'm buying this land back. I'm turning into indigenous forest again. I'm kicking all the fucking morons off of here, and I'm changing the game. Come what may, nothing will stop me. So for anyone who's gone through shit in their lives, anyone who's going through this difficult period where you're uncertain and you just feel a calling for something else, find out what works for you. I'll share what works for me. And let me tell you what, nothing's going to fucking stop me. Nothing. I win. So that's a little bit of psychology towards the markets. And I guess as I kind of chill out a bit more, sorry for the F words, but also not sorry. There used to be this mantra that me and the community used to say before we did our daily market updates via Zoom groups. We used to spend an hour every day. And that is, can't stop, won't stop, keep going, let's go. So whatever works for you, find it. Go within, find your power, because All right, so what's happening here in the markets? Continuing down trend. I'm not sure if this is how I left the markets last time. I don't really care either. Overall is down. So buy high, sell low. I even got someone saying, I think one of the community members saying that you can't say buy high, sell low. Guys, educate yourself. Buy high, sell low means shorting the market. You don't buy the top, wait for your account to crash and then sell it. That's just dumb. So short the market. And I suppose once you got a little bit of time here, I'm going to teach you about shorting for those who don't know how to short and why to short. Okay, so how shorting works, just by the way. And for the record, as I said, price is going to go down. All right, so that's it. If that's the reason why you watch these updates, you know where price is going to go to next, down. And exactly how it's going to go down, speak to the GAN tool. It has the answers. I'm not here to be the king of price action. I'm just here to help other people get better and get away from the morons out there that are spewing stupid information about how to make money on the markets, basically. So anyway, so getting into I forgot what I was talking about. Oh, shorting. The key to shorting is when you get into your position, once you get your head around the idea that you buy and sell immediately as you get into that position, which means that you're holding the value of an item instead of the price of the item. So said differently, imagine it was Christmas and you got yourself a little sneaky gift, but then your partner also got you the same gift. And let's just say it was the iPhone 15. So you both got the iPhone 15 for you, and like, okay, now I've got two of them. Your brother-in-law is at Christmas and he says, oh dude, if you're not using the second one, I've actually would love to buy that off of you and give it to my son. So he buys it off of you immediately. No, sorry, let's take the son out of it. He's not gifting it, he's selling it, because that's the whole thing behind shorting, is you sell as soon as you receive that item. So in this case, it's a Bitcoin, but in our example, we're talking about iPhones. So your brother-in-law takes it. He says, I've got a mate who's been desperate for that color that you've got there, and he sells it immediately to his mate for, let's call it, I don't know what the price of iPhone are now, but let's call it $1,500. So as soon as he sells it, he holds on to that $1,500, and you've got your iPhone still. Kumbaya, everyone's happy. Now let's say 10 months down the line, towards October, your phone drops. The iPhone 16 comes out, but you don't really care about having the latest model. You just want your phone back, and you call up, who was it? Your brother, I think it was, and say, "Listen, I want that iPhone 15. If you can just send it my way, it'll be great." So then, what the brother does in the situation, the guy that sold the iPhone immediately, was he goes onto Facebook Marketplace or to Craigslist or whatever the case is, and he gets a iPhone 15 in the same condition. It looks mint, whatever the case is, but he gets the same phone for $1,000. He essentially has bought high, sold low, and kept this profit. So he immediately received $1,500. Then he sold it, or he bought it back, rather, at 500. Oh, my bad. 1,000. I'm jumping the gun. I made himself. What the? TradingView. You're thinking 2024 that the guys have got a clue on how to do software. They don't. So he made himself $500 profit. Okay. So if that resonates with you, that's how shorting operates. You don't have to know how it works to profit from it. It took me a while to get my head around it. So this is to help you along that process, to realize that the key to shorting the market is that as soon as you place the order, it's sold for that price. And then the item itself, whatever it is, 1 Bitcoin, remains in circulation. And the sellback price is what matters. Okay, so someone else is buying it for less, whilst you got the immediate price for when you bought it, and then that's how the profit is made, right? If the price goes the other way, you fucking lose. That's how shorting works. So shorting market the value has got to go down whilst you hold the quantity, and then when you resell it, that's where the profit's made. So I hope that helps. I hope you guys go find your spark if you've lost it. And yeah, from my side, I sure as hell have found mine. That's all for today, guys. See you tomorrow. Ciao.